What's up everyone, it's your boy Xmanny87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends fan channel exclusive X-Men Love Triangle 3-pack of Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Wolverine. Before I get into everything, if you could please leave a like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Also, it'll help if you watch this video from beginning all the way to the end. Brace yourself, this might be a long review, but I will reward you with some awesome ACBA picks as I always do at the end of the video. So kick back, relax, grab your soda, your popcorn, your coffee, your Wheaties milk, whatever will help keep you energized throughout this video. So let's get to it. Alright, so now let's take a closer look at Jean Grey, and right off the back I do not have the older one for comparison, so I apologize. But once this new one was revealed, I definitely sold the older one, because come on, I mean, this one blows that one out of the water, so I want the updated one. However, some parts of that older figure are reused here, such as the gauntlet and the belt, but that's it. Everything else, Hasbro has basically blessed us with a majority of an all-new sculpt here. The arms are not new. Those have been on a female figure before. We also get a new head sculpt. Thank God, this one's so gorgeous. Actually, we get two new head sculpts, and I'll cover the second alternate head in a second. But first, I want to talk about the design and look of this costume, because it is important, and I see a lot of people complaining that it's not yellow enough. And for those that are complaining, y'all need to chill. It's okay. It's not supposed to match. For the majority of the Jim Lee run on X-Men and Portacio's run on Uncanny, the majority of that time, her costume was supposed to be like a orangey, beige-ish type of color, you know what I mean? Even in the animated series, it was closer to orange or beige than yellow. It's just people always find a way to complain about something, and it's just so annoying. As an X-Men fan of the 90s, growing up reading the comics, I knew this was the right color for the figure, so no complaints. Now, however, when Jim Lee and Portacio left, right around issue number 303 or a few issues earlier, it started trending towards more of a yellow color. Look, either would have been a good choice. It just depends, you know, preference. I mean, if you want an earlier or a later representation. But the main capture for Hasbro was to take the Jim Lee depiction and translate that over into action figure form. That was the goal for them. So I'm happy with this choice. I love it. This is the one I prefer. And let me know what you prefer. In the meantime, let's take a closer look at Jean Grey. So taking a closer look at her face sculpt right here, it is absolutely gorgeous. Really love how this came out, especially the hair. This hair is so freaking nice. The hair sculpt all around is absolutely beautiful. It's got that nice wavy, stringy, comic book looking type of female hair that I like a lot. So just looking how it's all come together here from the very bottom of the tips there, and just coming back around to the top. Absolutely gorgeous. And she's sporting her signature tiara headdress, I guess you would call it. But, you know, as part of her mask, I don't know if you can make out from the lighting on my camera here, but on her forehead it has a metallic sheen color where, you know, whenever she uses her telepathic abilities, it would like spark in a pinkish type of color. Wish we had an accessory for that. That would have been cool. Unfortunately, I got some paint bleed right there on top of the tiara, but you know, her eyebrows are in red. She's got some dark eyelashes, got the green eyes. So unfortunately, my Jean Grey has some smeared lipstick at the top of her lips, so that along with the paint bleed on her tiara is very bothersome. Speaking of lipsticks, whoa, they gave her Kylie Jenner lips, man, on the animated series head. Oh, these lips are really, really big. I don't know how I feel about it, but they definitely weren't this big on the animated series. I do love the ponytail though. I love that look. I'm glad they included that head, but the lips could have been a tiny bit smaller. I don't know, it just looks like these lips don't match up in size, but I don't know, you let me know. But I don't hate this head at all. It's just something I'll get over though. I mean, I do like it though overall. Again, she still has that metallic sheen right there on the top of her tiara. I just love how this comes out. But I really, really like this hair. I like the bangs, how it's curling over on this side. And then, you know, you got the long ponytail. It's really long, and it's that nice, again, you get that nice wavy, stringy texture of comic book hair. But let me know which head you like more, this one or this one. That's it for accessories. She only comes with an all head. Wish she came with like some alternate hands or even like a telepathic effect. I know I have one from Can of Beams, and I used that in one of my picks. However, where she lacks in accessories, you can kind of get creative with her. So with the animated series head, if you have the Cerebro from the Professor X, this might blow your mind. I feel like this was form-fitted to fit both of these figures. So if you slide it down gently and make sure that this back piece lines up. Yep. And then right here, straighten that out. Alright, so this may or may not blow your mind, but I feel like this lines up pretty good. I mean, the ears are where the ears should be. The nose is where the nose should be right here. And I just feel like it's form-fitted. It just has this nice snug fit. So in person, it looks good to me. On camera, I don't think it's coming off as good as it should. It looks so much better in person than it does on camera. I promise you that. Definitely try that out when you get this figure on hand. But yeah, looking at the top right here, I just feel like they did that intentionally to kind of make sure that Cerebro is form-fitted for both Charles Xavier and Jean Grey. So, if that was the intention, smart move, Hasbro. If you want to display her telekinetic abilities, you can grab the effects from the Scarlet Witch 3-pack, the Family Matters 3-pack, and just display it on like so, since she's supposed to have that pinkish type of color. Would have been cool if she had some pinkish, purplish, translucent hands like that Magneto had in the 3-pack. That would have been cool. So the one thing I wanted to do with this figure the most I couldn't do, well, sorta, I kind of pulled it off. I'll show you, but the first issue of that X-Men 90s run, Jean Grey is showing off this like phoenix-like, well, not phoenix-like, but a bird-like type of aura with wings, and it looked like Songbird's wing effects. So I wanted to see if this could port in the back, and unfortunately it doesn't. And during my New York Comic Con Hasbro press interview with Dwight Stahl and Ryan Ting, I asked them if she was going to have a peg hole in the back so we can clip this accessory on the back to kind of recreate that cover, and unfortunately they said no. But since it's Dwight said this is a PVC plastic, you could like drill a hole in it and put that. While I'm not gonna risk doing that, I might get an extra to do that, so I had to kind of work around where I tuck this in like so, and the peg is kind of like resting on her neck shoulder area right there. But yeah, it would have been cool if that was a feature, but when he told me it was a new torso, yeah, that was like, oh, okay. And I cannot display it with the long-haired one unless I really do this, and yeah, that's probably gonna put some stress on the neck, and I don't want to do that. But again, whatever angle you're looking for, if you're gonna do photography, you can probably find a way to make it work. Taking a look at the rest of the body here, I really like how the shoulder pads are nicely painted in this metallic color, and they are sculpted in, again, a new upper torso here. You know, nice bosoms, and she's got more metallic here on the arms, so that's pretty cool. The blue in the middle is a solid flat blue. And it looks good for the most part. Mine came out clean for the most part. I'm happy about that. And you got the metallic blue belt, metallic gauntlets there that are reused from the older Jean Grey. You got the hands right there. No painted fingernails, as she had painted fingernails on the older one. So kind of wish that was painted here. Looking at the lower torso area. The only area of blue that's really sloppy is like right here on her butt of all places. It's just like, I don't know, it's like this melted plastic looking pieces. But other than that, you know, not a bad cupcake shaped butt. Now to take a look around, she's got new hip joints, which I'm happy about. The old one had those ugly ball jointed hips. And you got this part right here that is in a metallic gold, so really nice. And it's not sticking out as bad as the older one did. And here are her calves. She's got nice legs for the most part. And here are the newly sculpted feet. So as you can see, they're a little more petite, especially if you look at them from the bottom here. Yeah, these are definitely new, never seen them before, but she balances well. And now to cover articulation with Jean Grey, with this default head, her head does not move back that much, so you're only gonna get that much. And it does move a good amount down. It moves left, right, and it does rock around, and you got some good pivoting. Now with the animated series head, her head moves that far up. With the ponytail, there's more room and range. It moves that far down. It moves left, it moves right. It rocks all around, and she's got some pivot. Her arms move this far up. It moves down. It moves all around. You got the elbow swivel, and you have a single jointed elbow that bends in nicely. You got the wrist swivel and wrist hinge that moves up and down. You got the ab crunch that moves that far forward, not that much, but it moves a good amount back, so that's really good. You got the torso swivel, you got torso pivot, and it rocks all around. Legs move that far apart, they move that far up and that far back, so she could kind of get a full frontward split. Her upper thigh rocks around a decent amount. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and oh, no heel to the butt. Ankles move up that far, down that far a good amount, and she's got all around ankle pivot. Now for some comparison, here is your Phoenix evolution chart, and which Jean Grey is your favorite? And now that I look at all of these, this green one is in dire need of an update now. Wow, her physique does not match up with these two. Here she is alongside Professor X. Here she is next to the Apocalypse Wave Wolverine and the Warlock Wave Cyclops. Here she is next to some other X ladies. And finally, here she is next to her X-Men Gold teammates, and this looks absolutely amazing. If there's one thing that I love about collecting is team completions. Now, to go over Cyclops, right off the bat, I'll let you know that I am going to skip articulation for this guy because he's on the Bucky Cat mode. We see that 1,000 times. There are differences between the colors and obviously the jacket. That is newly added on. That is borrowing from the Old Man Logan jacket, and the arms are from the Multiple Man Gambit arms. Now, the older Cyclops is on a much lighter bluer scheme, and it has more of that orangey looking color, where this is a nice bright solid yellow, and the blue is much darker, but I love it, and it's a blue that I prefer over this light one. One thing I love about this Cyclops is that he comes with two close-fisted hands. Something I wish this Cyclops came with as an alternate hand. You know, he just has what Shartimus calls the Jean Grey pleasure pose. The trigger, visor, finger. He does have this as an alternate hand, this one. So that is an option, but it's useless. So for those of you who don't know, this Cyclops costume kind of works like Spider-Man's web shooter trigger mechanism, right? He has those two thwipping triggers right here. So similar to that, he would close his palms, and it was when he squeezes them, it would activate his optic blast, and that way he can trigger it by that. He doesn't need to do this. That was more of the 80s costume gimmick, but you know, you do have that option if you want to throw that on there. If you are looking to use this hand with this Cyclops, unfortunately, because he's on the Multiple Man / Gambit arms, they're not double jointed, so you're not going to get a good contact with his visor there. One thing you will also point out is that this figure has a bit of gold in his paint. So this one has a gold visor, the new one has a solid yellow, and right here there is gold trim around his X-Men logo communicator thing. Right here, again, solid yellow. So Cyclops here comes with 3 alternate heads, so let's take a look at the first head sculpt here, and it is his mask. And one thing I will mention is that it is the same as the last one, but also, more importantly, I feel like there was a missed opportunity here with Hasbro, as they should have offered us a mask of this costume with an optic blast feature. So the vintage wave Cyclops from the X Factor days came with a optic blast accessory, so everyone was kind of clamoring to have this kind of feature for a Jim Lee style Cyclops, and we didn't get it with this one. So once again, I find myself using one of those can of beam accessories. So hopefully Hasbro will give that to us one day whenever they decide to revisit this costume, and hopefully it's in the same colors just without the jacket. Other than that, nice solid yellow. Only gripe I have is there's some melted plastic right there on the forehead, so that is bothersome, but the rest looks good. Next up, we finally get a Scott Summers head, and this is freaking awesome. I really like this a lot, and these glasses are definitely what I remember from the comics and the animated series, so definitely this is his style. And I know some people are gonna probably want to use this for a Matt Murdock head, which, you know, to each their own, that's cool, but to me, this is Cyclops, as I just showed you on the images on the upper right corner. Glasses are in a solid red throughout. I got some paint missing right there on the hairline, so that's pretty bothersome, but the hair sculpt is pretty spot on, man. I can't complain, I really dig it. Lastly, his third alternate head comes with these visor-like sunglasses, and you could tell they have that kind of Oakley's type of athletic look. But the head sculpt is not that bad. He looks a little bit older, definitely compared to the other head, which looks a lot younger and happy. I mean, this one looks like he's miserable and realized that Logan just took his girl. His hair sculpt looks really nice. It looks sloppy, like he hasn't done his hair at all, as you can see on the other head. It's like nicely combed, but could be that I just got cheated on hairdo. And taking a closer look at the rest of the body here, we got the reuse of the Old Man Logan jacket, and I really like the wash. It looks really, really good. Looks like it's been a worn, you know, leather jacket look. Yeah, if I brighten up the exposure here, you get some highlighted lighter brown areas. So again, it still looks good, doesn't bother me. And I love this a lot. The X painted logo on the sleeves, on the shoulders, on both sides. I dig that so much. And the rest of the body here, got that nice solid blue color, solid yellow, and you have the red X right there, nicely painted. And again, Bucky Cap mold, just showing off the paint. How beautiful is this blue? I dig it so much. And the straps here, they don't fall off like the other ones. They're pretty sturdy for the most part, which I am happy about. The other ones just kept falling off. And bright blue, yellow, and yeah, there you go. Now to take a look at the Wolverine, right off the bat, you already noticed the difference in colors. You see that this is a much brighter yellow, a much more solid and darker blue, and the arms are painted differently this time around. They're the same ones, the ones that you know that I hate the most, that are sculpted and not painted with the hairs like the Madripoor Wolverine one. I prefer that, or the vintage wave style. So what they did here was basically they kind of painted the hairs. As you see, there's a two-tone color here. So this one side of his arm is much, much darker, and I don't know how it looks or how I feel about it, but all I do know is that I like this one much more than this one in terms of color and overall accessories. You also get a much more prominent red on the belt here, not by much, but I think it looks better. Now this one does come with the bone claws, which look awesome. We'll get to that in a second. He does have a pair of alt hands that have these flimsy claws, which I can't stand. I wish they used the X-Force Wolverine claws or just something much sturdier. So what I did was basically put the stainless steel claws from Can of Beams. I'm mentioning him a lot in this video. I swear I'm not paid to promote the guy, but he does great stuff that complement my photography. Now to take a look at the newly sculpted bone claws, this looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, I really like the color on this a lot. Nice paint job. You know, you got some highlighted light and dark areas there. And on both hands, I did not experience any type of warping out of the package, so I'm happy about that. And mainly is because these claws are individually tabbed in onto the hand, so you can actually remove them if you slowly untab the fingers. There you go. The only thing is that you're gonna have a really large gaping hole right there, unlike the other ones that when you remove them, there are tiny holes in between the knuckles. Kind of wish he just had plain closed-fisted alternate hands. That would have been much better with no claws, you know, to accommodate these two clawed versions of the hands. Wolverine comes with 3 alt heads, and this is the first one out of the pack. The default head is this battle damage head, and it looks awesome. It has some, you know, scratches there, bullet holes, and bullet holes here, and another bullet holes that completely torn off this part of the mask. And man, this is awesome looking. You got some more like rips there. You got this angry growl, which looks really good. I like how that looks, and you know, squinting and wrinkles around the eyes. He looks really, really pissed off. Looking at the top of the mask right here, you got some of the hair that is poking through right there and through the torn mask. So it looks nice, man. Nicely sculpted. And I will say that this head must be downsized from the 12-inch Marvel Legends version where he had this whole torn look. I gotta take a look at it. I don't have a picture with me right now at the moment, but it might just be the same one, just downscaled. And it would have been cool, just like that 12-inch Wolverine, to have battle damage shoulder pads that we could swap out, just to give it a more battle damage look. That would have been super awesome. Next head up is basically the same one that we got from the Apocalypse wave, just in a brighter yellow. And well, you know, same underwhelming Logan head sculpt, so Hasbro has to continue on working towards giving us a better Logan head sculpt. But I like that they gave us this, you know, yellow cowl to match the 90s costume, and you can put whatever Logan head you want. Just to take a quick look at the rest of the body before I get into comparisons, you got the nice solid yellow. Again, the paint for the most part came out pretty good on mine, no complaints. No scratches or, you know, paint slops anywhere that I know of. You got the arm meat that's painted right there. You know, the red belt. Again, with the bone claws. Looks so awesome. Man, remember when Magneto ripped the adamantium out of his bones? Oh, that was one of the most gruesome scenes I've ever seen in comics. Oof. Got the, you know, darker blue, yellow all around. Same Wolverine body as before. Again, not covering articulation because, well, we already know how this mold works. It would be cool for him to have the Logan jacket over this costume, so that's cool. Anyway, that was Wolverine, so let's get into comparisons. For comparisons, here he is next to all the Wolverines that came out this year. Here he is next to Professor X and Jean! Sorry, I had to say that. And finally, here is our newest Wolverine and Cyclops with our X-Men Blue team. Alright, and now to wrap things up, Toy Fam, we finally get to complete our X-Men Blue and Gold teams. At least the core members of the group. I know some members joined after, like Forge, which we already have, and Banshee for the Gold team. Then on the blue side, we had the likes of Maverick, Dazzler, and Longshot. But for now, I'm the happiest collector to complete the core members of the blue and gold teams. When we get to the add-ons later, like an animated series morph, then I will even be a happier collector. Good selections of accessories here, but still left with some more to be desired. I love the all heads for Cyclops, but an optic blast effect was needed more over one out of the 2 heads that had the sunglasses. Giving us 2 different Scott Summers heads with the 2 different sunglasses is cool, but again, an optic blast head was more important. All we needed was just one Scott Summers head with sunglasses. Wolverine's best accessories are the bone claws, the battle damage head, and the pullover cowl. Unfortunately, we still need a great neutral Logan head. Along with that, we still need a good neutral masked face for the Tiger Stripe costume. Missed opportunity for not giving us the X-Force claws, but the bone claws alone make up for it, I feel. I am happy with those. But many people prefer, including myself, to display the 90s Tiger Stripe Wolverine with adamantium-like claws. Without a shadow of a doubt, Jean Grey is the absolute highlight of the pack. Packed in with her animated series head and the comic book head, this will please fans of both those genres. As I mentioned earlier, I wish she had some telekinetic telepathic effects for power display options, but with some other Legends accessories to borrow from. As I showed you earlier, it'll complement the figure nicely. Great choices of paint for all these figures. Having the entire X-Men team standing all together with those powerful, vibrant colors of their uniforms, popping out beautifully on display shelves, will surely be eye-catching for all collectors to admire forever. And my final rating is a 10 out of 10. Total awesomeness with multiple exclamation marks across the board. Please don't do yourself a disservice and pass on this pack. Go out there and get this pack now. Do not wait. For 60 bucks, you get all these 3 figures? That's nothing. Remember when the Warlock Wave Cyclops came out and he was going for like 70 bucks or 75 bucks alone? Nah, fam. Get these 3 figures for 60 bucks. Again, that's nothing compared to what this might go for aftermarket. Especially if you missed out on that Cyclops. Not many people were able to get them, so it gives you a great reason to complete your 90s X-Men Blue team. So that was my review. Please drop a like rating on the video, comment, we'll chat about it. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Link is in the description below at xmanny87. Get your Marvel Legends X-Men Love Triangle pack at Big Bad Toy Store. Link is in the description below. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.